Hello and welcome to the Coaches Cup podcast. I'm Coach Judith Fender, one of the amazing coaches with the Novia's weight loss program. Welcome.
And I'm Sonya Green with Sonya Green Coaching. And you are amazing. The giggle at that.
Y'all, we just rolled in. Y'all know that Sonya always does the intro. So here. Exciting fun fact. Today we're going to talk about urges. And I was telling Sonya, I was like, I wanted to do a call the other night and I wanted to use the song Urgent, from Foreigner. I'm going to go with 83.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good guess.
Because that song, it just kind of embodies what an urge is, that intense energy in the music. Urgent, urgent, urgent.
Yes.
It's like our little alarm going off in our body. And if you're listening to this, and you're a human, you have had urges and you may not even feel that intense feeling like the intensity in the song, but you are automatically doing some habit automatically. And urges is the conditioned response that you are doing. So
yeah, your heart beats a little faster. It feels, you might get a little sweaty. Your palms get sweaty. It was from 1981, by the way. So really good guess. I would have said more 83 than 81 also. I was a little surprised at that.
Yeah, it would have been 7th grade, I think, for me.
I would have been a little younger. I don't remember.
Urges. So what do we want to talk about urges?
I like to think, when I think about urges, number one, I think that most of us feel like when there's an urge, we have two options. We can either give into it, which makes all of those feelings calm down and go away. They're usually replaced by other feelings.
I'm pausing. I'm like, I'm trying not to coach you here, Sonya.
But right, that's what we think. Oh, if I buy the thing, then I'm going to feel better. If I scroll through my social media instead of taking care of this other thing, I'm going to feel better. If I eat the thing, it's all I can either give in or I can resist. That willpower. We think those are the only two options that we have. And I think that's what many times causes us to have this fight, for lack of a better word, this fight with our urges, because we feel like those are our only two options. Unless we've been doing a lot of thought work.
Right. I'm just feeling like rinse and repeat on, we could sit here and intellectualize it. We could break it down. We could draw a little graph on the cycle of an urge and stimulus response and do all of the conditioning around it. But it really is just learning, stopping somewhere, whatever it is you are doing that you want to stop, not do the thing. Feel the feeling.
Yeah, that's what. So we feel like we need to resist it. That's the way to get through it. But resistance, we talked last week about feeling those negative feelings. Resistance is what we've been doing our whole lives. We push down the feeling. We resist it. Yeah, exactly.
Fall in the water, right? Just holding that, resisting, and that's what we're doing with the urge by not feeling it. And by the feeling, resisting any feeling, that's when we have the explosion. That's when we have the explosion with our words or in our actions or the eating or the buying or the gambling or the whatever.
Yeah. When we give in, we're covering that feeling. We're just trying to get through that feeling. Never stopping to think that it's going to lead to giving in. It's also going to lead to its own set of negative feelings.
Well, and then giving in just keeps conditioning it.
Right. That I think that's the other thing that's
the definition of insanity, right?
Right. We have at some point made it a habit. And this is not, I'm not saying this so that it gives our listeners an opportunity to beat themselves up about it. Oh, well, I just shouldn't have created that habit. No, you created that habit because at some point it was serving you. At some point you needed relief from something and you didn't know any other way to deal.
That's the tool you had in your toolbox.
Yes.
Was whatever you use. And then we'll just, food and alcohol, those are some low-hanging fruit that I think everyone can identify.
Yeah, buffering on. I mean, we didn't always have social media. I guess back in the day, when I was in school, if I was trying to buffer from a negative emotion, I would either read or I would daydream.
Yeah. Yeah.
But either way, it's like not dealing with what's present, what's front and center, pushing it off. But that's all it is. It's not any, we didn't mean to create the habit, but we did.
I mean,
And now we have to unlearn it.
it's just, yeah. It's so, oh my gosh.
Say it.
Like urges, what I love when I think about the simplest, like, and trust me, I have plenty, many a times, I have urges for late night eating or whatever.
Mhm.
But I do love to hear Corinne say, about getting an urge to punch somebody she actually says throat punch somebody in the grocery store line.
Yeah.
That's just so visual. Like, but who among us hasn't been there wanting to do that? Like having that urge, like, come on, really? Like you want to say something, you want to do something and you don't.
Yes.
Because
we do have self-control.
Right. Or if I gave you $50,000, would you still, could you not do it? Yeah. Like you have so much power, but in those moments, the feeling of the urge, urgent, is so intense, so activating, so stimulating, and you've told such I don't want to say a sexy story around it, but such a disempowering story or misunderstanding about what is really going on.
Yes.
I'm so weak. I am just going to give in.
Everybody else in my family is overweight. This is just my lot in life.
Calling my name. I'm a little bit off track of what I was thinking, but it's just a feeling in your body. And literally thinking of slowing time down, just slow your roll.
Mm-hmm.
And just feel the feelings, just like we talked about in our previous episode, how to feel a feeling using that now process that Corinne teaches us.
Well, and the other thing I was talking about, we have two options: to resist or to give in. The other thing that this brings up is urges bring up that sense of perfectionism that we have.
Tell me more.
Well,
tell me more.
I will, as a matter of fact. But we think that if we're trying to manage our urges, that we have to be 100%.
Yeah.
And rather than resisting or giving in, we can allow the feeling, but that requires us, or it doesn't require us. That gives us the opportunity to observe the urge. And so that's another option that's available to us. We can sit back, we can get curious about the urge. Why am I having it right now? Why am I wanting this thing right now? Because sometimes it might be food, sometimes it might be wine, sometimes it might be a new purse. Sometimes, they're different. And then maybe we end up giving in that time. But have we learned something about the urge? It's not an all or nothing kind of thing. Resisting or giving in, that's all or nothing. But that black and white thinking, that's never going to get us there. It's what happens in the gray area. That's where our learning happens.
Right. Learning about the pattern, learning about the beliefs that you have about yourself in those moments, your understanding or your belief of the event
Mm-hmm.
that happened just before, or what triggered me. Because the urges can be, I don't want, it's so funny. We're trying to like use these words like not manage and not solved, but just understanding relationship. What kind of relationship do you want to have
Mm-hmm.
with your urges would be, because then you recognize the pattern. And then there's some predictability,
Mm-hmm.
right? And understanding they're not coming at you, and it's not all of a sudden
Like a big boulder running down the hill, coming down the hill at you.
And how you talk about them, or it's everything. Like, let's neutralize that language, come back down to just the facts. What is the felt sensation in your body?
Yeah.
Again, it's a felt sensation. It's buzzing. It's going to have electric energy to it, kind of like the song Urgent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you process through, allow yourself to feel it, you'll feel, it will move on. And if you keep thinking about it or bringing up the thoughts, it can come multiple times in a row.
Yeah.
But being calm, getting calm in your body.
Breathing.
Right. Just really being present in that moment and understanding that what's going on is my body. I'm having an urge.
Yeah. And, I mentioned earlier that it was usually from a habit that we had developed. A lot of the things that we're talking about, as far as the urges, we will generally have an urge for some kind of concentrated reward, sugar, or, potato chips, or wine, or it's a concentrated reward. And so our body needs a dopamine hit. I think most people who've done thought work realize that on days that they're tired, maybe they didn't sleep well, you're going to have urges for those kinds of things that give you that dopamine hit, that quick hit of energy. It's just going to come. It just is. And so even knowing that and saying, hey, this is going to happen today, but it's okay. I'm prepared for it.
It's predictable. It's like, it's even more predictable than the weather, right? I mean, urges are coming. Like, the weatherman just gets to make an estimate.
Yeah.
Right. But we can predict.
Oh yeah. If I haven't slept well the night before, there is 100% chance that I will want to eat something I don't need to eat during the day at a time. Well, not even that I don't need to eat, but when I'm not hungry, I will want to eat rather than doing the thing my body needs in that moment.
To your point on sleep, I was doing a little research about sleep and came across this study for the National Traffic Safety Commission, something like that. I'm probably not getting the title exactly. But like in 2017, I think there were 90,000 car accidents based on attributed to drowsy driving. So they did this research and they came up with, basically, if you've gone 20 hours without sleep, it's like having the blood alcohol level of 0.05. 18 hours was like, I don't know, 0.9. And then 24 hours without sleep is like 0.1 on the blood, meaning like your eye-hand coordination, your ability to make decisions and speed and all that. And I like to think about that too. Like, basically, when you're coming home from work, if you got up at 5 a.m., you got your workout done and you did your things and you worked all day and you've managed your mind or not at work, it's 5 o'clock, the kids are running around, the dog's barking. Ooh, the power just surged here. And you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and then you haven't even had alcohol. What if you have a glass of alcohol? And then you're wondering why you are,
making poor decisions.
Exactly. You just go ahead and assume when you come home.
Yeah.
That you're drunk. That you're here's my plan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I know is gonna happen. Here's my plan, how I want to show up.
Yeah.
And practice, again, like I can't remember if it was on this podcast or the previous one when we talked about making it like those 1% level ups.
Yeah.
Finding, not perfection, but setting ourselves up for understanding that urges are coming.
Yeah, just getting curious. I have told this story many, many times before, but I'm going to tell it one more time, because when I started getting curious, I discovered first, I didn't even realize when my time that I like to eat was, and it was in the afternoons when I came home from work. And I could leave school not feeling hungry at all, but the closer I got, the more hungry I got, the more urgency was building up. I got out of the car, parked in the garage, and walked right past the pantry before I could even put my things down. There it was, waiting for me.
Mm-hmm. Calling your name.
Calling my name. And when I started getting curious about that, it didn't stop me from eating right away. But what I realized was I could get my stuff out of the car instead of going in through the garage. I could go in the front door, take everything to my bedroom, take a few minutes and lay down. And I'm talking like 10, 15 minutes, lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was needing me in 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, they might think they do, but I can talk to them, tell them this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I went and did that. And so that when I did come into the kitchen to start dinner, I had neutralized a lot of that. I had given my body rest. It just needed a minute to move from one thing to another. And that urgency was gone.
Yeah.
Because I had listened.
Right. And you also that's a beautiful pattern interrupt, like changing the way you come in, allowing the body time to to relax and literally let the emotional brain have a rest.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Leslie coached me on that. And she was like, why don't you go in a different way? And I thought, well, I could go in the front door, couldn't I? And
We
go ahead.
we need to talk about her.
Yeah.
How you
But
doing, Leslie?
yeah. But that's, that was the value. And it did not, hear me, folks, it didn't mean I never snacked in the pantry again when I came home. It didn't mean that all of that left. It just meant that I got curious about it and I figured out a way to alleviate a lot of that, because it was being tired. It was needing some transition, needing some way to lower my anxiety level. I felt like I had been in fire mode, putting out fires all day long. I needed to bring that down.
Mhm.
And that was a way to do it. So get curious and don't feel like you have to, it's not 100%. We're not working for perfection. B minus work is our goal.
Mm.
That's about 80%, right?
Yeah. I have some notes over here. Let's see. I haven't even looked at this page here. Thinking that some common triggers for urges can be stress, isolation, and boredom.
Mm-hmm.
And recognizing the feelings as also a pattern.
Yeah.
Right. Because the brain, when we're isolated, whether by choice or not, there's some feelings there like, what do we do?
Boredom is a big one for me still. Yeah.
Urges aren't rational. No one ever died from urges. I thought that was funny. I was like, because they do feel like in the moment, very like we just might not make it if we don't.
Well, it does. It actually changes your physiology, right? Your heart does speed up. Your palms may get sweaty.
Yes.
This
is important.
Are perfectly harmless. Yeah.
Yeah. This is important. This is super important to get your attention so focused in that moment on solving for that panicky, urgent, which the song "Urgent," by the way, is a booty call.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I
why.
love that. I
just
have never really thought about that. It is. I will not argue. Just hadn't really thought about it in those terms.
I know.
That's awesome.
I didn't think of that in the eight, of course, right? But
Yeah.
let's see. I have here that urges do not compel. They are an invitation. You can choose to accept the invitation
Yes.
or not.
Yeah.
And that, what I hear, that's choice. That's agency.
Yeah. It's not a boulder coming at you,
No,
and you're not drowning.
right.
Those are the ways we feel. We feel like it's that deer in the headlights, or nothing's going to save me. I've got to do this. And that's not what it is.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think about our children cringing at the idea that we said booty call on a.
either, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that song, but
Just get curious.
yeah, what do you want to think about urges? And they will not, in the moment, you will think, and you may be, without addressing it, you could be at the point where you're thinking that urges are going to drive you crazy. Right. That because you feel so at the effect of them that you're absolutely, you don't even know where to like plug in and stop. And just plug in somewhere.
Yes.
Stop. Just try one thing.
Yeah.
Just stop whatever the behavior is and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just don't do the thing that you don't want to be doing. If it's drinking,
and don't replace it with something else. If you're smoking, don't replace it with eating. You hear people who gain weight when they stop smoking. Don't do that.
A nap, a 15-minute nap, or a meditation, a walk around the yard or up the driveway, or something that's more
call a friend.
Yeah, call a friend. Journal.
Yeah.
But you might want something of equal energetic value, right?
Yeah.
Friend does that, like, don't be scrubbing toilets. Somebody, I do remember that call. I was actually in membership when that one happened.
Yeah.
Because Kurt was coaching her and she said, well, what's something you could do? And she's like, well, I've got this bathroom that I really need to clean. Well, do you really want to do that?
Yeah, that is such a bad reward for, I mean, unless you enjoy that sort of thing. I don't know.
I do enjoy a clean bathroom.
Yeah, I enjoy a clean bathroom. I don't necessarily want to run and clean it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it being clean. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, what else can we say about urges? They're feeling.
Get curious about them.
They're going to pass no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether you drink, gamble, spend your money.
Mm-hmm. And while urges are completely harmless, giving into them continually, that can cause harm. It can cause harm for our dreams, our goals, our health. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's figure out, we don't have to resist them. That's not going to work. Willpower there's no such thing, or not nearly as much as we would need. But let's just observe them and sit with them. Take a nap through them.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been good. I'm Coach Judith with No BS Weight Loss Program. You can find me there or on Instagram, Just Judy, JustJudie.
And you can find me at SonyaGreenCoaching.com or on Instagram at Sonya, SONYA _Green Coaching. And our Facebook page. Don't forget about our Facebook page. We love to have people come in and make comments. We would love to hear this week, what are the urges that you deal with, and what ways have you found to move through them? That can be a really good topic of discussion.
Wow.
Share some of the things that you've done. I shared, changing my way in the house and taking a few minutes to lay down. What do you do to move through your urges?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week.
Bye.